Thanks. Good morning, everybody. My pleasure to share with you the bullet points of a recently released document onto the organ aorta. These are my disclosures. This is the group, how we started very early in 2023. This is how we ended very late in 2023, immediately in advance of EX in Vienna a few years ago. And you know, you always need the 24/7, 365ers who support you in this kind of thing to get the thing going in time. So, 244 pages, 256 recommendations, 33 illustrations, and up to 1,000 sites. Eventually, the most important message of the entire document is that the aorta has to be seen as an organ, and actually is the 24th organ of the human body. So, aortic medicine has become system relevant, and we try to formulate the needs for centers, teams, and also the healthcare implications aortic medicine has to be equipped with nowadays to be able to deliver aortic care in a respective frame. With regard to classification, scores, and definitions, and we had a long discussion about the STS classification. This document recommends the TEM classification because the type A, type B, or type non-A, non-B, very clear. The location of the primary entry tier, which obviously is the most decisive component of the entire process. And then M, the absence or presence of malperfusion, the metastasis of acute aortic dissection, as well as the Gerade score, is simply calculable online available score with CT graphic and clinical parameters, which allows you to anticipate 30-day mortality in patients with acute type A aortic dissection. And the non-A, non-B component involvement of the arch, either by primary entry tier located in the arch, which is rarer, or a retrograde IMH involvement of the arch from a primary type B. And also to come away from semi-quantitative descriptions, the use of the Ishimaru zones with regard to the extent of disease. We had a high focus on arch morphology, on cuspidity, the way you measure, and also the aortic length as a new criterion to indicate treatment has been focused. We put a lot of efforts in endoleakage, also a good graphical depiction of endoleakage that everybody, that the entire thing becomes clear. Same goes with acute traumatic aortic rupture, as well as a very detailed workup of Commerell's diverticulum, as you can see here. Eventually, one of the most important components is the standardization of how we talk about hypothermia, because the ballpark of description is endless. And so the current consensus is that everything above 28 degrees is mild, everything between 20 degrees and 28 is moderate, where there is high moderate from 24 to 28, low moderate between 20 and 24, and everything below is deep. And the location where to measure is central, and central means rectal or bladder. So, diagnosis and indications, the way how to measure, where to measure, and also to include the aortic wall in the measurement has been consented, because it's all about the aortic wall disease. So you have to have the aortic wall in the measurement process if we talk about diameters and lengths. And so this is also true for the root, so very clear sinus to sinus measurements and not cusp to sinus measurements, and also very detailed description of how to measure acute aortic dissections. So at the end, the view of the aorta from an embryological standpoint is extremely important, because we have three different cell types, secondary heart fields, the neural crest, as well as the mesoderm. This has to be in our minds when we think about these pathologies, and all these components actually lead to a leftward shift in indications, because we know the hinge points of a higher probability of acute aortic events well, and we have to be earlier than that. At the end, we have flow charts for the management and treatment of acute type A, also based on the TEM classification, flow charts on the management of acute type B, also based on the TEM classification, and the same goes for non-A, non-B, as can be seen here. Every surgical detail is mentioned in the document, open, endo, as well as hybrid. Also on thoracos, a huge emphasis was put. And summarizing, the key messages are that the aorta is now the 24th organ of the human body. Aortic medicine has become system relevant, and structures in the healthcare system are needed. Harmonization of classifications, score, and definitions form the basis to speak the same language. The TEM classification, the Gerade score, the implementation of non-A, non-B as a term for arch involvement, Ishimaro, root morphologies, endoleaks, and so on are decisive. We have a consensus of hypothermia classification, which now enable comparative studies worldwide. The natural course of the disease is way better understood. Ascending aortic length is a component in the decision-making process for the first time. The entire armamentarium with all treatment options under one umbrella is key. And the writing committee, and this is a big thank you to everybody, many are also here today, was unique and paved the way to leverage diagnosis and treatment of the aortic organ to the next level. Thank you.